Welcome, yarny friends. Happy Monday to you. Today is March 25th, 2024. My name is Donna, and this is Donna Loves Yarn, because I do. So, I have a jam-packed episode for you today. I don't know what to call these. I guess episode is good enough. Because I had a busy weekend. First of all, let me welcome everybody in today. I've had some new subscribers, so I welcome you. For those of you that are here for the first time, this is a channel about yarn and crochet, primarily. Sometimes I throw in some other stuff, whether that be sourdough bread, or my pets, or my family. Just random stuff sometimes I toss in. And today will be one of those days that it's not all, well, sorta all yarn and crochet related. Most of it is. So welcome in, and again, thank you to all the new subscribers. I appreciate you subscribing. I hope you like it here, and I hope you stick around. We are almost to 500, and if you're a first-time viewer, we are doing a 500 subscriber giveaway. It will be a shawl giveaway. I'll give more details as we get a little closer. I think I am 15 away. So we'll see how long that takes. It's been a little bit slow the last couple weeks, but we'll see how long it takes. But basically, I'm going to pick a few shawls that I've made, and whoever is the winner can choose from those shawls. Naturally, you have to be a subscriber to be eligible to win. This will be my first giveaway, so I need to do a little homework to make sure how to do all that before it actually happens. So, yeah, let's get started. So if you remember in my last full-length video, I mentioned the Tulip Bazaar. That was Saturday morning, and I was there. I was a little bit late, but I was there in time for them to start. Got everything set up. I think I have a picture or two I will share right here or right here. I'll throw those in. I took a picture of my setup, so wasn't really anything special. I told my sister today that I may need to start investing in some fancy displays or stuff, because I really have no signage. I don't even really have a name for my business. I don't know. What is it when you just do craft shows? I mean, it's not technically legally a business, but I need to come up with a name, because the name that I have includes my bread. And I'm not selling my bread anymore at craft fairs or farmers markets. So I need to take that part out. That name was Donna's Breads and Threads. Isn't that cute? I think that's a cute name. One lady read, I had a tag, an old tag on one of my items on Saturday, and she read it as beads and threads. She didn't see the R. So I just, yeah, but I don't do beads, so that wouldn't work. So I thought of Donna's Strings and Things, or Donna's Strings into Things. I welcome any suggestions. I need to come up with something that kind of describes what I do. So yeah, I need some stuff to kind of help me stand out at these events. I have one more craft fair in May, and then probably nothing else. I'll probably list my stuff on Marketplace, maybe eBay. I don't know. I don't know. But I've got a couple of really unique items that I think would sell well. It just may take a little time if I do them online. So anyway, the Tulip Bazaar, it was indoors. There were 10 vendors. The room is not very big. It's actually a community. It's actually what room they use for the courthouse. So when they have court, that's the room it's in. So I don't know. It's not that. It's good size. It's just the right size for 10 vendors with their tables. It's the right size for that. My position or my location in the room was okay. I was back in a corner. But I was right across from one of the gals that always gets a lot of good traffic. So that was good. But I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it, but I almost wish I had been in a different spot, maybe in the middle of the room. But she put me where she put me. That's okay. I made back what it cost me for being there, which was only $15, or $15 is what it cost me to be there. I made $70. So, it paid for the event. I bought a couple things while I was there, so I spent half of my earnings. And then I think I stopped and got something to eat or something. Anyway, I almost spent the whole $70. But, I sold some things. The first thing I sold, well, not the first thing, but the lady that made the first purchase was a fellow vendor. And she bought 3 things. She bought that half circle shawl, the red and black and white one that I've showed you. If I have a picture, I'll put it up here. I have a picture that's on the mannequin, I know. I might have a picture of me holding it up. Anyway, she bought that. She bought a cowl, and she bought a hat. So that was nice. 3 things from one person. And then I had another gal come by, and she purchased a hat. My cousin's widow came, and she purchased a hat. I almost sold the Thomas shawl that I took. Had it washed and blocked. It looked wonderful. It looked really good. I don't think I took a picture just of it, but it should be in the picture that I shared. I had 3 mannequins, and it was on one of them. So one lady showed a lot of interest in that Thomas shawl. I took the yarn that I started my other one in, and she said she liked that yarn. So we chatted a little bit, and she talked about this vest that she saw in a picture. It was a real lacy, open work vest. And she sat there on her phone trying to find it. I guess her daughter was with her. And they were both trying to find the picture, and she couldn't find it. But I gave her my card that had my number on it. And I said, when you find it, just text it to me, and I'd be happy to make you a vest. I mean, how hard can that be? I can do that. I could do a vest. And so we'll see if she calls. But yeah, that almost went. Let's see. I took 1 loaf of bread because I had made some bread for a customer from my sister's market, and he was coming to pick that up. So I made extra in case that loaf didn't turn out, because I made it with 100% Guinness beer. Never done that before. I've baked bread with beer before, but never with Guinness. So I wasn't sure how it would turn out, if it would flop, if it whatever. So in case it did, I made extra just classic white so that he'd at least have a loaf of bread of that. But it proofed, it baked up beautifully, and he loved it. He told me, texted me the next day, well, last night, and said it was the best bread that I've ever made for him. So that was a heck of a compliment. But instead of water, I just used 100% Guinness beer. Same amount that I would have done for the water. So I made 2 of those. I don't know why. Oh, because I had 3 cans of Guinness and I just wanted to use it up, because I had it for a recipe. My son bought a 6-pack. Well, I didn't need all of that for the one recipe. So I had all this beer left. So I decided I'll just go ahead and make enough loaves of bread to use up the rest of this beer. So I had 2 loaves that were 100% Guinness, 1 loaf that was 50-50 Guinness and water. That loaf I made for myself. It was so good. It was really good. The second 100% Guinness loaf I made for a local gal here that found me on this channel, by the way. And she picked it up this evening, and they had it with chili, and she said it was fabulous. So I may have to do that again. I don't know. Guinness is pretty expensive. So the event was good. I was there till 4 o'clock. The traffic, this is the second time that I've done the Tulip Festival. And it seemed to me the first year I was there, it was busy, much busier. And that was 2 years ago. It was only 2 years ago. So it's not like it was pre-pandemic. It just didn't seem to me that it was as busy. And the weather wasn't bad. I mean, it was cold. Hi, Goob. It was cold. As a matter of fact, we had flurries for a short while. So it was in the 30s. But I don't think that's what kept people away. I don't think so. There was another gal there that sold sourdough. She sold all her bread. I don't know how anyone else did. I mean, there were jewelry vendors. There were 2 vendors that had flowers, cut flowers. The gal that was across from me, she does the tumblers, you know, with the pictures on them. So, you know, there's a variety of vendors, but the traffic just wasn't there. So I'm glad I made the $15 back that it cost me to be there. So that's all I care. And I'm glad I sold that shawl. That was cool that I sold that brand new shawl I just made. And then hats, because it was cold. That's probably why people were thinking hats. So that's all for the Tulip Bazaar. By the way, this video might be a little long because I do have a few things to talk about. The next thing that I wanted to talk about that I mentioned in my last video was my Zen Yarns Garden order. I received it. I received it on Saturday. Should have been here Friday, but it didn't come. So it came Saturday, so it was here when I got back from the Tulip Festival, Tulip Bazaar. And I'm happy with what I got, but I was a little bit, I don't want to say dissatisfied or disappointed. I don't want to say that because I'm really not. But a few of the things weren't like I thought they would be. And I'll show those to you. But I ordered 3 full-size hanks of hand-dyed. It's all hand-dyed, I think. So here's the first one. And this is superfine fingering, 90% merino, superwash merino, 10% nylon, 400 yards. Recommends, this is probably knitting needles, 2 1/4 to 3 1/4 knitting needles. And it's just a light, pale, what kind of green? Almost a sage green. I'm trying to think of what, and it's kind of tonal. Yeah, it is tonal. It's darker here, lighter here. Almost like a lettuce. No, not really a lettuce. What color is that? It's not dusty like a sage green. It's a little bit more, I don't know. The camera is showing pretty true, I think. So it's soft. It's nice, of course. So there's that. And then I think I got this thinking about making another a dahlia shawl, because the one that she showed, the one that Expression Fiber Arts had was shades of blue and a green. So I think I got, because I'm not a big fan of teal, so I think I got these with that in mind. But this is called Frosted Teal. Oh, by the way, this is called Kyanite. And this is Frosted Teal. And it's a really pretty teal blue. Same specs as the other. And then this one's beautiful. This is Midnight Teal. And it's tonal. They're all tonal. And let me tell you something. I've smelled a lot of superwash merino. A lot. I love smelling. I love the smell of wool. These are probably the strongest smelling wool I've ever smelled. Amazing. And it's not even 100% superwash. But, oh my gosh, it smells so good. Or it might be these that smell stronger, because, yeah, it might be these. Okay, so those are the full size that I got. So then I ordered 2 3-packs, 2 of each colorway of a 3-pack. Each 3-pack has 3 different shades. And here's the first one. I'm going to take them out because the glare, I want to smell them anyway, because I think this is the one. I don't know. The tag came out. All right. So Gradient Trio, 100% superwash, superfine superwash merino. 3 skeins each. They're each 200 yards. Each are 200 yards. So they're half the size of a full size hank, which was the disappointment. But it's not a mini, and they're wound really tight. But aren't they gorgeous? That's gorgeous. Those are, I mean, look at that. Look at that purple. I need better light. Those are beautiful. So I've got 2 sets of these. So I have 6 of the purple. Whoops. The second set of 3 I got is called Lilac. This middle one, you guys, is absolutely, I've never seen a color like this. And it's called Lilac. So we've got these 3 colors, but look at this. And so we've got this one, we've got this one, and then they got married and had this one. So this is a combination of the 2, if you can see the lilac and the kind of a, I don't know what to call that, like a, I don't know, light seafoam blue. I don't know. It's beautiful, and I'm not a huge fan of blue, but so all those together are going to make a beautiful something gorgeous. And I've got 2 3-packs of those. Beautiful. Beautiful. So my second order that I placed is due to be here Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday or Wednesday. So I will have the last of that order to share with you towards the end of the week. Okay. So now I want to talk to you about my crochet group that met on Sunday. We meet at a nearby town, the town that I moved from. We meet there every other Sunday. The last time we met, we were told that was going to be our last Sunday at the library, that we were going to start meeting at the senior center. Well, for some reason, that fell through. She must have arranged for us to meet at a certain time, and it was going to be free. Well, next thing I know, she's telling us we can't meet there unless we want to meet from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then it would be free. So somebody, a paying customer, was probably requesting that time slot that we were in, which is sad. And we talked about it. Some of us talked about it on Sunday. Because the library, we have to pay. And depending on the amount of people that show up, that fee could go up, because they charge you according to how many people are there. Not only that, we can't bring any potluck stuff. If we want to bring food, we can bring food for ourselves. They won't charge us. But if we bring, like veggie trays or crackers to share, they're going to charge her or charge us. So, yeah, we can't do that. We probably could have done that at the senior center, but we can't do that here at the library. But we're going to continue meeting at the library. And I guess everybody is just going to have to pitch in, $1. What's $1? If 20 of us meet, that's $20. That takes care of it, at least. So it was a nice group. It was a nice meetup. What did I take? I took a cowl, and I took another Thomas shawl that I had started. I'll show you the cowl here in a minute. My friend and prior neighbor, she was there. She was recovering from food poisoning. She didn't look good. She looked kind of pale, kind of gray. But she was there, and she was working on a poncho, sparkly, like a sparkly blue or teal poncho. So she was feeling well enough to go there and work on a project. So, she just said she felt kind of weak still. But she had a major problem with some food poisoning. Yuck. That's no fun. Oh, the other gal that was there, it was her first time joining us. And I've mentioned her before. If you've watched any of my previous videos, it's the gal that I got all the art yarns from. I feel I have a hair in my eye. Yeah, so she showed up. She was working on a blanket. She was there before me. And I hadn't seen her in, I don't know, I hadn't seen her in probably at least a year, because it seemed every time I went to her place to pick up yarn, she wasn't feeling well or something, so she'd just leave it at her doorstep. So it was good to get to see her. And she brought yarn with her. She brought yarn with her. And I knew she was. I knew she was bringing it. She had shown me pictures of what she had, and I had already claimed, I don't know, six or seven things, and it was mostly cotton cakes, like from Hobie. Mostly that. So she brought a whole bunch more stuff. She brought, what did she bring? 2 trash bags full? Maybe, no, yeah, two bags full. 1 trash bag and 1 like a big tote bag full of yarn. And I told her, don't show it to anybody else till I get to go through it first. So she let me go through it first. And you know me. If you know me, if you've been here, you know I have no self-control. I have absolutely 0 self-control. So I went through everything and picked what I wanted. I'm going to show it to you. And of course, I've got to wait for a sunny day to set it outside. And if you've watched my videos, you know why. So there's some nice stuff in here. Let me tell you what. Oh, I wish this would stay. There we go. All right. I don't even know where to start. So we'll start with this. This is my very first experience with Darn Good Yarn. She had what looked to be a kit. It was two hanks and a knit pattern in a bag. And all I saw was sparkle. I saw sparkle, and I saw it was a hank, and I went, Phew! I see sparkle. So, yeah, so I grabbed it. 300 yards, super fine silk, lace weight silk yarn. I don't know if I'd call that a lace weight. I don't know if I'd call that a lace weight. I'd call that a 1 weight. Calls for a 2 1/4 to 3 1/2 hook. So I don't think that's a lace weight. Here they are. Look at that gorgeousness. Oh my gosh. Isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. I don't know if they don't have, I don't know if they have colorways or numbers. All I see is 527 hyphen JESJR. That's the SKU. But it's lace weight silk yarn. And it's gorgeous. And I've heard Crystal talk about this before. This is raw silk. So it doesn't feel like this kind of silk at all. This is raw silk. So it feels more like cotton. But it's gorgeous. I don't know what I'm going to make with that. A shawlette, 300 yards, or is each one 300 yards? I guess each one is 300. So yeah, I could make a decent size shawl with that. Or I could even hold it double with something, you know, a cotton or a wool. I could hold it double. Maybe with another silk. I don't know. But gorgeous. Speaking of gorgeous, I mean, all this is gorgeous. But this was right here, so I had to show you. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is Regal Silk. It is 100% silk. 50 grams, 163 yards. And I looked these up last night to get the color name. I didn't write them down. This has something to do with peaches, and I can't remember this one. But those are absolutely gorgeous. And they're single ply. Single ply, my favorite. So I was going to grab it too. Or did I grab it? No, I didn't grab it. Oops. Okay, so I have this silk that I got from Knit Picks. It's a plied yarn. It's not single ply. But look at that. Those go together, or those go together. So I'm either gonna, I laid awake. How many of you do this? How many of you are this crazy that you lay awake at night thinking about your yarn and what projects that you can make with said yarn? I can lay awake for hours just thinking about, because I'm thinking, okay, I can hold this double because it's a lace weight. Hold this double and then do it with that. Okay, so I'm thinking, what's the yardage? So each of these is 439. So that's 439 yards if I hold them double. And then that is 163. So 439 and 163, 4, 5. So probably close to 600 yards. And then if I throw that in, that'd probably be enough to make a gorgeous shawl. 100% silk. Oh my gosh. Would that not be gorgeous? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, so here's the next one. And this is my first hank of Wonderland yarns. And this is the Marianne collection. And it's called Haunted Pathways. It's a limited edition. And it's teal, green, and black. And white. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I have a teal green that I wondered whether it would go with it. But it's just, this is not quite teal enough to match the green that I have. And these two are going to be for something else, or those two would go together. I don't want to do that. So I don't know what I'll do with this. But anyway, this is 8515 Superwash Merino Nylon Blend, 8515. 475 yards. That's a lot. That is a lot of yardage. I wonder if all Wonderland yarns are like that. That's a lot of yardage for a hank. I mean, look how big that is compared to that. You know, this is 400. Quite a bit bigger. So there's that one. And the second Wonderland, also Marianne collection. And this is Overly Large Creatures. And this caught my eye because the main color on this is like a purpley blue. It's really pretty. And then it's got the speckles. I'm a fan of the speckles. I never thought I would be, but I am. So, same specs on this one. Of course, it's got to go lay out in the sun. If you don't know why, mention in the comments and I'll tell you why. Okay. Here's this one. I hope she doesn't look up this video. I hope she doesn't find this video. I should probably just keep my thoughts to myself. I looked this one up on fabulousyarns.com because they're the main resource for art yarns. And I looked this up yesterday because I've never seen it. And I know exactly what it retails for. And I feel like I stole it. This is beautiful. This is probably the nicest yarn I have. It's called Ensemble Light. Look at that fiber content. Look at that. Oh, my camera's not even doing it justice at all. This is like I don't want to say bright, but it's a very, very vibrant magenta. Not fuchsia. I wouldn't say fuchsia. I would say magenta. It's a single ply also. And I know I'm using the front-facing camera, so it's not going to focus. But, you know, that's a one weight. Single ply. Silk cashmere blend. Hank of beauty. Oh my gosh. 400 yards. I was speechless when I saw this. Speechless. I don't even know what I can use this with to do it justice. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And it's tonal. It's a tonal yarn. Oh, I wish you guys could see this in person. It looks so faded on my camera. It is vibrant. Magenta. Gorgeous. Oh. Maybe you can tell a little better back here. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. If I put it in the light, nope. Take my word. It's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It's just beautiful. All right. Then I saw this. Another Madeline Tosh Twist Light, which is a one weight. And it's got some of my very favorite colors in it. Greens, purples. Does it have any blue in it? Browns, maybe some rosy colors. But it's mostly greens and browns. Look at that. Oh my gosh. This is called Beta Crucis. Beta Crucis. I got to write myself a note because I just thought of something. that I don't want to forget to mention. That is a beautiful color. And this is fingering weight 75-25 nylon merino nylon blend, 75-25, 420 yards. For crochet, it recommends 2.25 to 3.5 hook. Dyed by hand in Texas from wool ethically sourced in South Africa. Now, I've heard South Africa is a great location to get yarn, particularly merino yarn. And I know I heard a while back, it's been a while now, there's an online seller based in South Africa. I think Crystal might have mentioned it. If anybody knows, let me know below. I went through and I just did a web search for South Africa merino wool, and none of it looked familiar, sounded familiar. So if anybody knows who that is, let me know. But that's beautiful. That's a beautiful yarn. Gorgeous. All right. Then we have some more Wonderland yarns, and these are 5 packs of minis. And there's really no rhyme or reason to these colors, really. It's the Mad Hatter series. And these are sport weight. I wonder if those other minis that I did the cowl with are sport weight. I bet they are. I bet they are, because these look the same. Anyway, here they are. Purple, blue, blue, gray, white and blue. There's really no rhyme or reason. Yeah. They smell like vinegar. Speckles. I like the speckles. So, those are, let's see, 5 skeins equal 430 yards, 86 yards per 1 ounce skein, sport weight. So 430 yards. No, that purple just doesn't go. So I've got 2 of these, exactly the same. So purple. Of course, this is the fingering weight. So there's that. And then there's she threw in a mini that I already had. I can probably just throw that in with my other minis. Okay, and then we have some cakes. Here's one from Hobie. Cotton Kings. Twirls. I don't know why. I mean, this looks exactly like that. Why twirls? This is Sultan. Twirls. They're the same. Why couldn't they have just named this Sultan? There's nothing special about it that would have anything to do with twirls. So why is it called Twirls? I don't know. I don't know. But I got one of this color. And this is color number 48. These are, for those of you who don't know, it's a 200 gram cake, 100% wool, or sorry, 100% cotton, 874 yards. I wonder if that's the difference. Maybe this has more yardage. Nope, exactly the same yardage. 874. Okay, next. I got a Yarn Art Flowers Moonlight. No, it's not my very first Moonlight. I have other Moonlight. And I normally am not attracted to peach, nor am I attracted to like the mint greens, but I am attracted to sparkle. And she had other sparkle yarns, but I didn't like them. So I grabbed this one, and she had another one that she had frogged. So I basically have two. Yeah, basically have two. So there's that. And then there are two of these. Another Cotton King twirls. And a really, I mean, this reminds me of orange sherbet. This is color number 32. Same yardage, 874, of course. But yeah, doesn't it look like orange sherbet? It reminds me of orange sherbet. The color is really not, color's kind of faded out on my screen. So I got two of those. One of these she had already used, and then she frogged. I know all about that all too well. All right. And then these last three are really nice. This one, she don't know where it came from. There's no label. If anybody recognizes it, please tell me what you think it is. That's adorable. Pinks and blues. And it's not a plied yarn. I mean, it might be loosely spun, but I have a feeling, because it's got a knot on the end, so that's why it's not fraying out. But looking in the center, it's not plied. I can say it's not plied. But I'm pretty sure it's 100% cotton. It feels like 100% cotton. And if anybody knows what this is, let me know. This is a good size cake. I mean, it's bigger than the Hobie. Of course, it's loose. It's loose in here. So I imagine if it had been wound tighter, it might have been smaller, but it's pretty loose. But still, it's probably at least 200 grams. I should have weighed it. It's at least a 200 gram cake. So again, if anybody knows what this might be, let me know. So there's that. And then she had a whirl. This is my second whirl. This is color Red Velvet Sunrise. That is really, really pretty. Again, it's not doing it justice. It's brighter in person. It's awful pretty. I've got another one up there somewhere. Excuse me. But specs on this are 225 grams, 1,000 meters. So what's that? Probably 1,100 yards. Recommended hook. Well, it says it has a needle and that has a hook under it, and the numbers between them, 3.5 to 4. 60% cotton, 40% acrylic. You'd think as expensive as these are, they'd be 100% cotton. Because these are expensive. I've seen them as high as $30. Why? Because they're from another country, made in China. I just noticed. So anyway, there's that. And then here's the last one. And this reminds me of, let me get it so I can share it. This reminds me of a cake that I got quite a while ago from, it's one of Melody by Woltram on Etsy. And isn't that beautiful? I can't wait to make something out of that. I should have already, but it reminds me of that. This is the one that she sold me. It's a little looser again, but nothing on the end. No label. But I made a shawl out of this before, out of this. And I have one gripe. It seemed to me that as I'm working up the yarn, the metallic thread, how do I put this? It's not plied evenly with the yarn. So in other words, you're pulling it out of the cake and you have this much extra of the lurex. So you have to stretch and stretch and, stretch the yarn to work that extra lurex into the yarn. So I don't know if I'm going to have the same problem with this. I think I will. But it's beautiful. That's gorgeous. Look at that. I don't know if you can tell the colors, but we've got like a forest green on the outside, goes into a Kelly green, and then it goes into like a periwinkle and a blue, and then that goes into a light blue with a periwinkle. This is periwinkle all in here. And then the middle, you can see it better here. That's more like, it's almost like a mint green in the middle. So maybe that's not blue. Maybe it's like a mint green. But next to that periwinkle, it looks blue. So that might be more like a mint green. So I got those from Nancy at the group yesterday. And originally I was just going to count everything because she normally gives me everything at like $10 a piece. But based on the weight of the bag, I didn't want to sit there and count everything, knowing that there were, these little ones and then the 5 mini kits. I didn't want to have to go through all that. So I just looked at the bag and shot her a price and say, how about this? And I got home and I dumped it all out on my bed and I counted everything. And counting everything, even that bag of yarn pieces and each mini, it was 29 pieces. 29 pieces. And I averaged it out for what I gave her. And that's why I say I feel like I stole that. So she messaged me later that day, and I have some Twister Solid that I have on Marketplace trying to sell. I think I just told her about it. And I have 2 cakes of navy. And I don't know if you're experienced with Twister Solid, but the navy is almost black. I don't think I want to work with it. And I've only got 2 hanks minus about one of the hanks is missing about 20 grams, 10 or 20 grams. I'm just going to give them to her. I'm not going to charge her for them. I got a heck of a deal. So I'm just going to give them to her next time I see her. So there's that. Group was great. Sat and worked on, I took this project and I had shared it in the group so that they all saw it. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is probably one of the most interesting projects I've ever worked on. And I know we're at 55 minutes now, and I still have some other things to talk about, so this is going to be long. I apologize, and I hope you stick around because there's some interesting stuff coming up, including a coupon code for some patterns, if you're interested in patterns. Anyway, this is called the, where is it? I wrote it down. Oh, there it is. Faded Pathways. And before I show it to you, I have to thank Judy at Judy's Creations in Crochet, because her last video, she talked about this designer, and she gave the whole story. Anyway, long story short, the designer offered Judy's viewers a 40% off code for any and all of her patterns until, it's like for another 6 weeks. I just watched it end of last week, I think it was. So, 5 or 6 weeks from now, so like the end of April, I think, till the end of April, you guys can take advantage of 40% off her patterns. She has some beautiful patterns. I'm not huge on pattern reading, but I'm learning. I'm really learning. But this Faded Pathways is so cool. And here it is. And it's a tapered cowl. I should show you that. That's the back. So here's the neck, and then it tapers out. This pattern, these stitches are so cool. This stitch is called the linked double treble. If you look online on YouTube for any linked, there's a linked double, there's a linked half double, there's a linked treble. This is a linked double treble. But I'm telling you, this reminds me, and I even heard some of the people, some of the creators say that it's reminiscent of Tunisian, because it is. Each, I'm all wrapped around my yarn. Each little vertical deal here is basically Tunisian simple stitch. I don't know a whole lot about Tunisian, but I do know that. So basically you're doing 5 stitches of Tunisian simple stitch next to each other, and they're linked together. That's gorgeous. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. And every other row, you do 4 increases. You're supposed to mark 4 spots equal distance apart. Doesn't tell you how many stitches to count. Just says pick 4 spots equal distance apart, and that's going to be where your increases are. So every other row, you're doing 4 increases, and that's what's causing the flare towards the bottom. But the pattern calls for 12 minis. And so you do one row of a solid color. Then the next row is where you do this number, where you do one from the previous and then one from the next. So it's like piano keys. And then so you'd have your solid and then you'd have your combined. And then this row would be your increase row. I didn't have 12, I had 6. So I probably should have done 4 rows of each color. So like 3 solid and then 1 combined, but I didn't have the yardage for that. So I did 2 solid, and then every third I did the piano keys. I'm going to call it piano keys. So every third row I'm doing that. And I've got 2 colors left. I just started the yellow. So see, here's the piano keys in the yellow. And then I've got a lighter yellow for the very last. So I think by doing only 3 rows, it's not going to be as long as it's supposed to be. But, you know, it's still fairly long. Let's see. Yeah, I think it'll be really neat. And then I think you go back and you do a final row at the top of some stitch, I can't remember what, and then a row at the bottom. But I thought this was fingering, but it's not. It's a sport weight. So Pam, if you're watching, you're right. It's a sport weight. So it's probably a little stiffer than it's supposed to be, but it's still cool. And that stitch, think of the things you could do with that. A link double treble. You could do a lot of really cool things. And that's a solid fabric. It's cool. It's really fun to work with. It's so much fun. So I took that to the library and I showed it off. Showed my friend Nancy how to do it. So I'm working on that. So I wanted to share that with you. And then again, mention Judy's Creations in Crochet. Go watch her video because she'll tell you what the coupon code is for that creator. She's on Ravelry and Etsy, I believe. But I went through Ravelry and I think I bought like 6 or 7 patterns for 40% off. Goodness. Her name is Mariana Muller, or Mariana Muller. She goes by Sweet Crochet Dreams on Instagram. But yeah, go check out Judy's video on that. And that's a great cowl. I'm going to make another one now that I really understand it better. The way that she joins each round, I found a different way to do it that I think looks better. The way that she does it, when you get around to where you started, she wants you to go in through the front, underneath the horizontal bar. So you've got 3 horizontal bars, and she wants you to go in underneath each horizontal bar, pull through, and then slip stitch to join it on each of those horizontal bars. And then the very top, you just have the top loop and you do the slip stitch there and it looks fine. But I saw one today where you join by going into actually underneath the horizontal bar. Instead of going through it all the way through and pulling the yarn to slip stitch, she just went in behind the horizontal bar and joined it that way. I think that was better because when you go through the whole fabric, there's really no defined hole or stitch that your hook goes through. So you almost have to force it through there. And I don't know that I like that. So if I make another one, that's how I'm going to do my join. So Pam, if you're watching this, that was really the only thing that you might find challenging if you want to do that cowl. All right. So I also wanted to talk about the Adalia shawl. That's the one that sold at the Tulip Festival, Tulip Bazaar. I started another one today. I started another one. And I got to remember where I said it. Did I put it in here? Yes, I did. All right. So I've been wanting to find something to make using my cobblestone yarn from Fiber Natura cobblestone. I've got two. I thought I had three. Yeah, I've got 3 different colors of this, and I was wanting to find something. So I decided that I'm going to do the Adalia shawl, that half circle. And this one is called Jewels. I don't have the tag. Something Jewels. But the first part is the most of the same color, and then it tells you to change color. So I have some Willow Daily that feels exactly the same thickness as this. This is supposed to be, I believe, a 2-weight. The Willow Daily is supposed to be DK. They feel the same. So I have a dark purple and a lighter, like a lavender. And that will go, I wish I could focus this better. That will go perfectly with this. I love this shawl. And it's really pretty easy. Adalia, Adalia. Pattern designer is Jane Vancellis. Jane Vancellis, I bet. Jane Vancellis. Jane Vancellis is the designer. So if you want to go and look up the Adalia on Expression Fiber Arts, it's a neat pattern. And the one I made, it was big. It was good size. Gosh, we're over an hour. I have one more thing to talk about. I just wanted to show those 2 whips and then one more thing to talk about. So last week, I happened to just sit and watch a dyeing video, fiber dyeing video from Thriss and Stitches. And I'm going to link her below, so maybe she'll watch this. Because I sent her an email. And I didn't figure I'd hear from her. But I sent it anyway. Anyway, she did this dyeing video. And she experimented with this color. And it was called Twilight Gray. And when she first put it in the water on top of the hank, it was like, yeah, and she and I both had the same reaction. I'm sure everybody did that watched, because it looked orange. And then it started changing color because she put it in there before the water got really hot. And it started to change color. And the more it changed color, the more I loved it. And it's funny because, long story short, Thrift said that was by far her favorite color. That's huge because she does a lot of dyeing. That's a big deal for her to say that that's her favorite color, because I agreed. That was my favorite. Oh my gosh. It what she called it it had breaks. It braked or broke or whatever, however you want to say it. But I guess that's what that is, when different colors emerge, but they don't combine. I guess that's breaking. So it had greens, and it had gray, and it just had some beautiful colors. Purples. Green and purple is my favorite color. So when I saw the green and the purple, I'm like, oh, it's gorgeous. And then she had another color called olive brown. And that one as well was just gorgeous. Most beautiful color green. Like, an olivey green. It was beautiful. So I decided to go onto the Dharma website, and guess what? I ordered dye. I'm going to try my hand at dyeing. I have, I have some Willow Daily and some white. That's 100% superwash wool. I'm going to try dyeing that. I do have some superwash ready to be dyed, but I'm sending that over to a local dyer here because I want a specific color. So she's going to dye that for me. I went and I looked at Amazon for some ready to dye yarn, and I decided to have some shipped to me. So I'll have undyed yarn coming like the first week of April. And I really want to try my hand at it. I'm going to have to do a lot of research because I haven't done, I've watched some, but not enough where I feel 100% comfortable doing it. So, I want to make sure that I don't waste my money. I only bought 2 little containers, so two 2-ounce containers of dye. I don't know how far it'll go, but I want to try that Twilight Gray for sure. For sure. That's beautiful. I agree with you, Thriss. That was gorgeous. So that's coming probably Tuesday. The dye will probably be here Tuesday. So, gosh, I know this was long. I'm sorry it was so long, but it was packed with a lot of information. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything. Make sure you go over to Judy's channel and get that coupon code for those patterns. You won't regret it. Those are some great patterns. Oh, I did want to show one last whip. One last whip. Hang on, because this is cool. All right, so if any of you are familiar with Ice Yarns and Crystal, of course, at Bag a Day. Ice Yarns offers a pure silk yarn. And Crystal just happened to order it probably, 4-6 months ago. And the minute I saw it, I thought, I want to try it. Because per ball, it was cheap for pure silk. So I finally got around to ordering it. You get it in a bag of 8. I believe there's 8 in a bag. Yeah. And it's like 20. Now it's like at least 30. Last I checked, it was higher. But at that time, it was like $26.99 or $24.99 for 8. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think that's right. Or were they 6 in a bag? Either 6 or 8. I can't remember. But anyway, I ordered 4 different colors. And this is another thing I was laying in bed last night thinking about. I want to make something with that silk, but it's a 0 weight. It's so fine. And I tried working with it on its own probably a month or so ago, and it was just too hard. I couldn't do it because this particular yarn is kind of grabby. So I thought, I'm going to hold it triple. I'm going to hold it triple. And I'm just going to do something simple. And it'll be beautiful. So I used these 3 colors. Gold, pure gold. And I can't remember the name of this, but it's like a chestnut color. Almost like a dark taupe. So these 3 together. And I'm doing the Thomas shawl. Brandy, if you're watching, this is going to be so pretty. Another Thomas. It's got the scallops on that side. And then it's got the boomerang shape on that side. And so that's how that's looking. And I went right here. You can see this is different. I dropped the darker color, the taupey color. I dropped that. And I brought in my lavender or lilac color and just did 2 little rows. I don't even know if it's even going to be noticeable. But I figured, every so often I'm going to drop that dark color and put in another little kind of accent row. Just to, give it a little something different. So I've got gold, I've got the dark taupe, I have a lighter taupe, and I have the lilac. I think those are the 4 colors I have. And then I've got other silk back here. So that's going to be, look how, that's just drapey as can be. Look at that. That's going to be so, that's going to be luxurious. Pure luxury. And this is so easy. The Thomas, just look it up on YouTube. Tomis. And I didn't put my stitch marker in, of course, so it's coming out. It's easy as can be for an asymmetrical, of course, probably all asymmetrical. Boomerangs are easy, but this one's really nice with the scalloped side. So, okay, that's all I have now. I'm officially done. I showed you everything. I caught you up on everything. If I miss anything, I will present it on Wednesday for Whip Wednesday. But I just wanted to catch you up on everything that happened this weekend and all of my projects that I'm working on and, the startitis and all that jazz. And the yarn, it was packed. This video was packed. So I thank you. If you hung out this long, I thank you so much. So much. If it was me watching a yarn video, I would have watched from start to finish because I love yarn. So I hope you watched from start to finish. By the way, one of my last videos, I couldn't help but notice the wringing of the hands. That's a very nervous habit I have. And I do it so I don't even know that I'm doing it. It's a comfort thing. I don't know. I do that when I'm like public speaking. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to get this uploaded. I'm going to go work on a project, probably the Thomas shawl or the Adalia. I don't know which. And I'm going to try not to start another one. I'm going to try really hard. I got to finish this. This is almost done. So anyway, thanks again for joining me. I appreciate it so, so much. Have a great rest of your evening, day, afternoon, weekend, whatever it is. And hopefully you'll join me on my next video. If you're new, check out some past videos. I posted a couple of shorts recently. Check those out. Those seem to get more views than my regular videos, probably because they're short. So check those out and you'll kind of get to know me a little bit better. So until next time, guys, thank you again for joining me. Take care. Remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, and I love you. We will see you on the next video. Hasta la vista. Happy yarning, crafting, whatever it is you do. Have a good time at it and love it, because that's what it's there for. I will see ya. Bye.